Hi everyone, this is your math guru. Today we're going to be discussing the parabola. Please don't forget to click on the like and subscribe button below for more easy to understand math concepts. A parabola is a quadratic function that has the highest power of x to be 2. We have three forms of writing the equation of a parabola. The first form is the standard form, which states that y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. I'm going to write the standard form. The second form is we have y equals a in bracket x minus p squared plus q. That's the vertex form. And the last form, we have y equals a x minus r1 x minus r2. That's the intercept form. Each equation is used based on the question asked or what exactly you're trying to achieve when dealing with the parabola. I'm going to explain quickly what each variable means in each form. Note that I can get the vertex form from the standard form using the method of completing the square. Starting with your a, the value of your a determines the shape of the graph. That is, if I have the value of a greater than 0, that is, if it has positive values, I'm going to be having a smiley face for my parabola. However, if I have the values of a less than 0, then I'm going to be having a sad face. That is, a has negative values. Also, the value of the a determines the vertical stretch factor. That is, if a is a large number, you're going to be having your parabola close to the y-axis. If a, or the value of a, is small, you're going to be having the value of, or the ends of your parabola further away from your y-axis. The next term we need to note is our turning point. The p in our vertex form is our x values for our turning point, while the x is our y values. Therefore, to find the turning point, I'm going to state that as TP. That's the value of our P and Q, which is the same as X and Y coordinates. So for example, if I have Y equals X minus 4 all squared plus 4, my turning point here is going to be my P, which is negative 4, is the opposite, or I'm going to negate it. That's going to be positive 4. And the value of my Q remains the same, which is 4. Another example, if I have Y equals X plus 1 all squared, remember I'm using the vertex form, minus 3. My turning point for my parabola here is going to be the coordinates P, which is the negative value given. I'm going to negate plus 1, so I have minus 1. The value of my Q remains the same, which is minus 3. The next term, the axis of symmetry, which is closely related to my turning point. Using the standard form to find the axis of symmetry, I have the x equal to minus b over 2a, while the y is minus delta over 4a. From our quadratic formula, the value of delta is b squared minus 4ac. This will give us the value of our turning point, that is the coordinates x and y. For our intercept form, r1 and r2 are the x-intercept. And remember, if you have the x-intercept, the value of our r is 0. So if you have r1, the value of y is 0. And if I have r2, the value of y is 0. For example, if I have y equals 3x minus 1, x plus 2. Remember, this form is the intercept form. The x-intercept, as given in the equation, will be, I have 1, the value of y is 0, and the value of x will be minus 2 and 0. It's similar to solving your normal quadratic equation. After factorization, you equate either bracket to 0 to get the value of x. So to make the value of, or the equation 0 here, you make x minus 1 to 0, x will be 1, or you make x plus 2 equals to 0, x will be minus 2. If you need to sketch a parabola given any form, there are 5 basic points you need to note on your graph. The first point is the shape of the parabola. Remember, as explained earlier, the shape of the parabola is determined by your a values. If you have a values greater than 0, it's going to be a smiley face. And if you have a values less than 0, it's going to be a sad face. The second point you need to note when drawing a parabola is your x-intercept. To find the x-intercept, the value of your y must be equal to 0. And the next point is your y-intercept. To find your y-intercept, the value of your x must be 0. The next 2 points are related. The first one being your turning point, which is also the same as the coordinates of your p and x. The last one, but not the least, is your axis of symmetry. And these two are linked. Let's look at an example quickly. The first example, if I'm to sketch the parabola y equals x squared plus 5x plus 6, the first point I need to note when sketching my parabola is the value of my a. In this example, a is 1, and that means a is greater than 0. So therefore, the shape of my parabola is going to be a smiley face. The second step is I need to determine what my x-intercept is. X-intercept. To find my x-intercept, I need to make the value of y to be 0. And solving that, I have 0 equals x squared plus 5x plus 6. Using factorization method, if I have my 2 bracket, I have x, I have plus 3 plus 2. That means x plus 3 equals to 0, x equals to minus 3, and x plus 2 equals to 0, x equals to minus 2. So therefore, for my x-intercept, I have the 2 points. Remember, the value of y is 0, so I have minus 3. I have minus 3 and 0. And the second point, minus 2 and 0. The next point, I need to find my y-intercept. And for my y-intercept, the value of x will be 0. So going back to my equation or my question, I have y equals 0 squared plus 5 times 0 plus 6. That will give me y equals to 6. So the coordinates will be, for y-intercept, I have x is 0 and y is positive 6. The last point I need to note is my axis of symmetry. And to find that, the value of x is equal to minus b over 2a. Minus b is minus 5 over 2a is 1, so that's 2, that's minus 2.5. You can also find it by dividing. If you add from my x-intercept, you have minus 3 plus minus 2 divided by 2. That's the midway in between the x-intercept. Remember, I'm going to explain that quickly. If I have my graph this way and I have a parabola, these are my x-intercept. So axis of symmetry, I'm trying to find the midway between these 2 points, so I can add them and divide by 2. In this case, that will give me minus 2.5, which I also got here. Also, if I'm looking for my y values for my axis of symmetry, I'm going to slot in the value of x, which is minus 2.5. So that means y equals, for every occurrence of x, I'm going to replace it y minus 2.5, that's squared, plus 5 in bracket minus 2.5 plus 6. If you punch that in on your calculator, you're going to have y equals minus 0.25. So the coordinates will be my x values, that's minus 2.5, and my y values, minus 0.25. With all these points, I'm going to draw my parabola. So using all the points I've gotten, I'm going to do a rough sketch. I have my y values, or my y-axis, and my x-axis. The highest number I have for my y is 6. So I'm going to divide this into 6. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to do the same for my x-axis. Now to put in my point, remember the value of a is 1, which is greater than 0. That means my graph is going to be a smiley face. The second point I need to note are my intercepts. So let's start with my x-intercept. The first point is minus 3 and 0. I have minus 3, 0. The second point is minus 2, 0. That's the second point. Then I'm going to go to my y-intercept. The value of my y-intercept, or the coordinates, is 0 and 6. This is 0 and 6. The last point is my axis of symmetry. I have minus 2.5, that's in between minus 3 and minus 2, and my y values, minus 0.25. It's a rough estimate. So drawing my parabola, I must make sure that my curve passes through all those points. So coming from here, going to go down. That's my turning point. And it's also going to go through the y-intercept. So that's the rough sketch of my parabola, showing all the important points on my graph. Thanks for watching. Bye.